Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Added Time FPL, our weekly Fantasy Premier League football podcast. It's Gameweek 29. It's a blank Gameweek 29. Things to be made, transfers to be had. Do we blank or do we hold? Do we take negatives? Do we play free hits? Do we captain Salah? No, you can't because he's blanking. We're going to talk about all of that today. Mike, hello, welcome back. And I need to just start this episode by saying, I need to brag, right? Like, this is the only thing that we have going for us at the moment. I know it's a flex, but I'm impressed with myself. Ladies and gentlemen, currently on the account, my account, I am sitting at 56th overall in South Africa, where I am from, where my league is still at until I can move it to the UK. So 56th and 4,786th in the world.
That's insane, Nate. That's insane. There's over like 10 million players here.
I'm blown away.
This is the highest you've ever been, eh?
Ever. Like, nothing can come close to this. I think the highest finish I've had was 36,000. This is insane. I'm 102 points behind first in the world. You've closed gaps bigger than that.
You can do it.
We can. I'm going to throw it up on screen quickly for you. There you can have a look. So where are we at? There we go. Overall, South Africa, 344th in Chelsea. Not too bad either. Decent points this week. But nevertheless, we need to figure out what to do with the teams, Mike. What do we do with the teams?
It's a blank game week and 4 teams aren't playing. It's Liverpool, Palace,
Villa,
Arsenal, and Newcastle. So
Villa's not playing.
A lot of people are going to be thinking about what to do to your team to actually handle this. Now, are you in favor of the free hit? Should people be playing their free hit this week?
It depends. If you can't field more than 10 players, I think 9 at a stretch, you should probably look at playing your free hit. But if you weren't planning on playing your free hit for this double or for this blank game week, there might be another blank game week coming up very soon. So you could hang on to your chip. I am not playing my free hit. I am upset because I missed a transfer, which we'll talk about later due to a price rise. But I'll be fielding 9 players, which isn't too bad, and banking a transfer.
So, I mean, I'm fielding all my players, but like 2 of those players are players that are sitting on my bench doing nothing, getting 2 points a week. So I'm not taking a hit on them, but I don't have replacements for those 3-9 enablers.
Yeah, a lot of people will be talking about moving out Cole Palmer this week. While it could be a good move, he also is the only one of the few players playing. Obviously, it is Arsenal and it's a difficult fixture. But like Mike said, you've got Liverpool not playing, you've got Aston Villa not playing, you've got Newcastle not playing, and you've got Crystal Palace not playing. There's one more. I must have missed it. Yeah. So you can't really there's no other players really that you like. Who do you replace him with, right? Like, I guess Bowen.
I don't know if you want to reveal to the world your big transfer, because I'm thinking my team is set up with Palmer in, and I have this free transfer, and I am now sitting on making a decision on whether to transfer Palmer out for that player that you brought in. Do you want to tell everybody who you brought in?
Yeah, I'll tell everyone. He's risen already. I did it on Sunday. I took out Rogers for this man because I had the budget and I think it was a very good move. And he's gone a bit under the radar, but it's Bruno Fernandes from Manchester United. Bruno Fernandes has had a bit of a end of season purple patch so far with a 10-10-9 over the last 3 weeks. Very, very, very good.
And he's playing Leicester City this weekend,
who are in relegation zone, who are pretty much set to be relegated. Yeah. Realistically, United should not be losing this game. They could, but at this point in time, for me, I've brought in Fernandes for that one fixture. I might move him on after that because he is playing Forest, City, and then Newcastle. But who else in that price point is getting consistent games and points? No one really. You know, Bowens have been hit and miss. The Rogers have been hit and miss. The Palmers have been hit and miss. The only, even in Buemo, except for the haul against Leicester, has been hit and miss, right? I don't think it's the worst idea. And I think he might just be a player that you bring into your team and leave him for the rest of the season.
And I was thinking Palmer out for Fernandez, but this week, even though Leicester is the easier fixture, Palmer has sucked for like weeks and weeks since game week 22, you said earlier. And
Mm,
so if you're going to bring Fernandez in, but it's just the one game week, I'm also thinking about this Leicester, just a downside on your Bruno Fernandez thing. With Leicester City, their manager was at United and took over in the interim. So if you're going to be bringing him in and Ruud is in charge there, I mean, does that throw up the dramaticness of the match? Does it
mm.
make it even spicier that it's Ruud there?
It might be. I genuinely don't know if it was the best move. I think for me and where I am in terms of pricing, he was the best player for me that I could bring in for
I
a
think it's a
person that
brilliant
wasn't
shout.
playing. Yeah,
My problem is Leicester City. I know they're rubbish right now, and
but they
they
can
are.
easily win that game. Like,
The problem is they held Arsenal for like 83 minutes. Chelsea squeaked by with a 1-0 win. It's not as if Leicester as bad as, let's say, Southampton.
no.
So I think there's a lot of drama there, and that's probably enough for me to say, you know what? Let me just take one more gamble on Palmer. Let's see what he does against Arsenal in this game.
Yeah, and I would be more inclined to say to most people that are worried about him is just, you've held him for this long, you might as well keep him in a London derby and see what happens, right? Eh, Arsenal aren't very stable right now. Chelsea could win, Chelsea could lose, but it could be a great game for Palmer to just resurface a bit. And like you say, Fernandez could get like a hat trick, he could get 2 goals, but also he could blank, and now you've wasted a transfer.
Mm.
So
Yeah, I think if you're going to be using transfers this week, you want to keep them for making sure you don't have a blank game week team. And outside of that, I don't think it's that necessary. I think Palmer one more week. And let's see what he does against Arsenal. Maybe
yeah,
this is the
might
time.
even
Maybe
hold him for Spurs as well. We got Arsenal and Spurs, so it's a double London derby coming up. So who flipping knows? But on that, why I would say not move players so quickly is because I missed a price rise to exchange a goalkeeper, which means I'm fielding a goalkeeper that's not playing this week. And I've been weighing up and talking with my car whether I should just take a hit and bring in a goalkeeper, but is it a waste? And I've kind of landed on the fact that I've missed it. I'm not going to do reactive moves like I've been saying for the whole season. And it's got me to this point. So I think Mike's right when he suggested to me, just bank a transfer and figure it out next week.
I just think if you're already 56th in South Africa and 300 and three whatever in the world, uh, what are you in the world again?
4,700. I was 300 in Chelsea. Yeah.
4,700.
Yeah.
If you take a -4, you will drop so far before you even start. And I think in a week where the big players like Salah and Isaac are not playing and Watkins not playing, a lot of people are going to be trying to put teams together to somehow pull ahead, and you could use that +4 points this week as a +4 is way better than a potential return, but a potential squander. So yeah, I think it's the safest move for where you are right now. There's
Yeah.
no need
And
to gamble right now.
exactly. And all things considered, how many other people are going to be taking negatives as well that don't want to play their free hit just yet? Which free, I was going to say wildcard check, but fantasy chip check. I believe me and Mike both still have bench boost, both still have wildcard, and both still have free hit. So, I mean, we're in a good place in terms of chips because that free hit I'm saving for another blank. That wild card we can save for an end of a season team haul, and then obviously the bench boost. In my mind, you're going to wild card and then bench boost the next week, kind of a thing. You'll set your team up. So yeah, that would kind of be the strategy that we're both looking at.
It depends on whether it's tricky because it depends on if Haaland hits form, you might need to bring him in. And with Palmer not hitting form, you might need to be trading him out. And then you
Yeah,
got to rebalance your team with players that are all playing and 2 goalkeepers that are decent, and then try and hit that bench boost. But uh, I think this game week, it's all about just making smart decisions, whether it's free hit or not, to build a really good team. Now, Nate, what's your top 3 players to target for the blank game week?
I would say Chris Wood. If you don't have him already, I know that's unlikely because he is currently 47% owned. So he is in the majority, but that should shoot past 50 this week. But for me, it would be Chris Wood, it would be Bruno Fernandes, and it would be probably either Aitonori from Wolves, who's playing Southampton, or Kluivert, if you don't have him. Kluivert or Kirkes, either one of the midfielders from Bournemouth.
Yeah. I put out a special mention there on all those players are brilliant, just by the way, but I think we haven't seen Mbuemo be like outlandish for a while. He
This
had that
might be the
14
one.
goal like 2 weeks ago, and I'm looking at the Bournemouth fixture and thinking, I don't know who will win the game, but Mbuemo is going into a rough set of fixtures after this.
Oof, that's
This
tough,
might
yeah.
be a good one to target him as well.
Yeah. The real question is, now that Salah's not playing, the captaincy armband is finally going to be deciding a lot of either negative, like people dropping or climbing leaderboards. So who do we talk about captaining? Immediately I look, okay, if Haaland was on form, Haaland, right? Because he's playing Brighton. Is he playing Brighton at home?
Yeah, playing
Brighton. So like immediately I'm like, okay, Haaland. But then like Man City and Haaland have been a bit crappy recently. Then I go and like, okay, Arsenal. But then also like Bukayo Saka's not available. So I wouldn't trust anyone at Arsenal. Then I would go, okay, Chris Wood. Yes, Chris Wood's probably the best standout at the moment, but it's also Ipswich away, and he's been blanking for the last 3 weeks. So then you could say maybe Mbuemo because they're playing Bournemouth, but again, it's difficult. No one's like consistently on form except for Bruno Fernandes, who's playing Leicester at home, which makes me lean to the idea that, he's playing Leicester away, but nevertheless, it makes me lean to the fact that maybe he might be the one just because he's at the center of that United attack. And he's at the set pieces. Like, I don't really know who else to captain this week.
Yeah, I think Wood is the best shout. I think Fernandes is a good one, but I think I might go a little bit different from you this week and go with Mbuemo because I
like
think
that.
I think Mbuemo has all the same attributes that you said about Fernandes. He's at the center of all the attacks. He takes penalties.
Yeah.
He's a really strong candidate for an attacking midfielder to have the armband. I mean, there's something to be said about a very risky Kluivert, who's been scoring some like hat tricks at times and things like that. So Kluivert is also a decent shout, but I think I'm settling on Mbuemo. But I think Wood, Mbuemo, Fernandes, those are 3 of your best options to captain in the blank week.
I mean, you're right on Kluivert. Kluivert's got 2 hat tricks this season. Not many players can say they've scored a hat trick anyway this season. So it's not a bad shout. And like you say, they are playing at home. Maybe that's a buffer. And Brentford aren't the most clean defensively. But I really hope Mbuemo scores for you. I really like that punt. There could be a case for Cole Palmer as well, but again, there's no indication whatsoever that he's a shout, considering he's missing penalties.
Yeah, I kind of like scratch people off the list depending on like news and things like that. We know that he was sick when he played his last match against Leicester. He missed a penalty. He's not in a vein of form.
His mental's probably all over the place as well.
And Chelsea's playing on Thursday in the Europa Conference League as well.
Which we need to win. So
I keep saying Hoffenheim, but they're playing Copenhagen.
Copenhagen, yeah.
Copenhagen. So I those are too many X's on Palmer as a captain, which means to me, with the pressure that's on Forest to keep winning, I like the idea and the stories around Bruno and Ruud van Nistelrooy and Leicester and United. I'm thinking that Mbuemo, Kluivert, those are my 2 captain choices, and I'm choosing that fixture to see where I'm going to put the captain armband on.
I like it. I'm going to just throw out another random one because he was probably my saving grace last season, but it's Jared Bowen. He's still at West Ham. He's still doing his thing every now and then. They are playing Everton. I think this will be the first time West Ham play Everton in their new stadium. Not mistaken. Speaking of which, this will also be the first Merseyside derby in the new stadium as well. next week, which will also be a crack of a game. So yeah, West Ham, but again, it's West Ham, and West Ham aren't doing fantastic this season. They really suffered with losing Declan Rice. But Bowen would be the other one on the radar, to be honest. Otherwise, I can't really think of anyone else.
Yeah, Bowen's a decent shot. Just West Ham, they're sort of up and down. We don't know where to target, when to target. But they do have a decent 3 fixtures coming up. If you count, if they've got a Liverpool in there, but they've got Everton, Wolves, Bournemouth, Liverpool, and then Southampton. And that's actually a nice little run. So maybe Bowen is a punt for this week.
Could be.
He's sitting at 7.5 though, which puts him just out of my reach, but he might be in yours.
Yeah. Yeah. Would you look at João Pedro at all? I know he's playing City, but he
City
has
are
been on
playing
good
right
form.
now, the way Pep's sort of lost it and the City players look like all over the place, I'm gonna say yes, and I'm gonna actually probably bring him in because
Nice.
I think that he's proven his worth over the last couple of game weeks. Aside from proving his worth over the last couple of game weeks, he's a good option, and he's going to be on penalties, so it's a really good shot.
And he's good budget, right? He's 5.5. It's if he was a 6 mil player, I'd be like, okay, maybe not.
He's held that price all season, eh?
Yeah, he has. He's fluctuated between, but that's what he started on. He started on 5.5, so he's still there. So there you go. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. It's interesting to talk about with all the captaincy choices. So you guys will have to let us know who you're going to be captaining, because there's so many options, really. It could go either any one of the names that we've just said could be captain choices.
Who do you think is the most captain this week?
I think it'll be Chris Wood.
Chris Wood.
Yeah. I knowing that I might not captain him and might do a punt on Fernandez. It's risk, but if I wanted to be safe and stay in the mix, Chris Wood would be the obvious one. And I think a lot of people will be bringing him in and probably captaining him this week. Yeah, pretty sure he'll be the most captain.
You're playing it safe by not taking that negative, so why not have a little bit of a gamble on the captain in a week where anybody could be captain?
That's the thing, right? Chris Wood could blank. He did last week.
He's not Salah.
No, he's not. No one is. And if Salah was playing, I'd probably captain him. But yeah. On that, Mohamed Salah is a big fan of the podcast. Mohamed Salah, congratulations on breaking the Fantasy Premier League record for points in the season in your 28th game week, when you still have 10 games left to go.
No, it's insane. And I think anybody who didn't take him from the beginning of the season, bro,
is kicking themselves.
Yeah.
I've had Salah, and I think you as well. I think we've both had him from game week 1, and we've just not taken him out our team.
Speaking of Salah, I know this is going to be past time when everybody else is watching, but PSG and Liverpool are right now in penalties, and PSG's leading the penalties for the
No way.
Yeah.
Oh my days. It was 1-0 to Liverpool, and it ended 1-0 to PSG.
Yeah,
and now they're in penalties.
And PSG just took the next penalty, so that's 3-1 to PSG. It looks like Liverpool going out.
Oh, that's going to be a very bad blow for Liverpool.
Curtis Jones and Darwin Núñez missed their penalties. Mo Salah scored his penalty.
Of course he did.
So,
well, what are you guys watching this for? Probably not, but go watch the game. Go watch the highlights. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all we have to cover this week. Let me know, or let us know who you captaining. Let us know if you're a Liverpool fan, and if you're going to be sad because I'm going to predict now that Liverpool are going out the Champions League, which means you only have one thing to play for, really, which is the Premier League. So good luck. Yeah, nevertheless, may the odds be ever in your favor. May the points be ever in your favor. And we'll catch you guys next week for a early Tuesday, 1st of April game week. There'll be a skip, but it'll be April Fool's Day with game week 30. So we might play some jokes on you. We'll have to see. But yeah, see you guys. Take care and good luck.